those of you that do not know, I don't know why you wouldn't, but I'm Raven. Okay, so last night I couldn't sleep, so I didn't go to sleep until like 3 in the morning, and I kept thinking about this time that this is something that happened 5 months ago, and I was like, okay, I might need to talk about this. And normally I have these thoughts and I'll write things down, or I'll say that I need to record it or talk about it, and I don't do it. So, or if I do it, I'll keep it to myself. And so last night I tried to go to sleep. It's like, I'll just go to sleep and brush it off. But no, it felt like someone was telling me that I had to do it. Not in a bad way, but I just wish it wasn't at 3 o'clock in the morning. And so I got up and I did it and I put it in my closet. And the only issue with that is the only reason I'm doing this one and not posting the other one is because it was 3 in the morning and I wasn't trying to be loud and wake everybody up. So in that video, you can't hear me as well. So, but that actually might be a problem with the AirPods, because every time I FaceTime somebody, they're always like, your AirPods are trash, your AirPods are crap, I can never hear you. But anyway, not the point of the video. So I'm just gonna talk about what happened 5 months ago, and my progress from then to now. So I'll talk about a couple other things just along the lines of it, and hopefully I'll try and get everything in. I might forget something after I watch this video over before I post it, which is really gonna get on my nerves. But yeah, let's get started. I don't know how long this is gonna be, but if you make it all the way to the end, congratulations and thanks. Alright, so February 3rd of 2020, for some reason I thought it was in 2019. But February 3rd, 2020, it was a normal day, kind of. Actually, let's go all the way back. We're going back to 2019. So, July 16th, maybe, of 2019, I was in a car crash. And we were T-boned, so the same my hands in the car, and we had like that, T-boned. And so I was on the passenger side, and I guess somehow I hit my head. I don't remember hitting my head, but I had a concussion and all that stuff. And I had already had migraines, and I had already had I guess some symptoms of depression, but I guess I was either too young or I just didn't really pay attention to it to know that it was depression, at least the beginning of it. So I had to go to the hospital after the crash, a bunch of chiropractic appointments, and a bunch of bad and other things. So after the crash, things started to escalate, and my migraines got 10 times worse, but that I was kind of used to. But the depression and how bad it got, I was not. I have notes right here on my computer, so I can kind of keep track of my thoughts. So if you see me looking over, that's what I'm looking at. So, yeah, and I started having it was every single day. I was always crying, I was always sad, I was always irritated. I always had a feeling of guilt. Even if I hadn't done anything, I'd still feel guilty over something. Hopeless, numb. I didn't have any interest in anything that I love to do. And if you know me, then you know that I love music, singing, dancing, just acting like a plump fool. But I didn't have an interest in doing any of those things. My insomnia was extremely bad. low energy, did not want to do a thing. Like, I can be lazy, but 5 months ago, that's a whole other level. And insecurity. Now, insecurity was something that I had for a while, but in between those 5 months, it just got worse because of the moods that I was in and the state of mind that I was in. Fast forwarding to February 3rd of 2020, and my depression was still bad. I had numerous conversations with my mom, who is a mental health therapist, about my thoughts. And during after the crash, I started having suicidal thoughts, and they weren't that bad in the beginning, but then they started getting worse. And so I was talking to her, and she was saying how I probably needed to go to therapy, and if I wasn't like better at a certain period, then she was gonna take me to see a psychiatrist and all this other stuff. And I had done therapy before for my anxiety and stuff, so I mean, it wasn't a new concept to me. Which most people think therapy is so bad, but it's really not. I mean, if you have a good person, someone you know you can just be open with, and you can have fun with your therapist. It doesn't have to be this boring thing where you're laying on a couch and, oh, woe me, and all this other mess. It's not what some people make it out to be. And so February 3rd, it was a normal day, and, well, normal for me anyways, and I was in one of those moods, which is kind of like a depressive state, but I call it a mood, and I was really quiet that day. I was really sad and emotional, and I had to go to work, and it was a Monday. I think February 3rd was a Monday, and I did not want to go to work at all. And so I was already about to cry before I went in, but I was crying while I was there. And I hate people seeing me cry, so I'm like, okay, nobody's gonna see me cry. Like, I'm gonna toughen up, and I'm gonna fight through this. And thankfully, my shift was not that long. So somehow I got through, and I was like calling my friends, and I was like, I can't do this right now. And my thoughts are coming back, and it's like persistent. Like, it's the only thing I'm thinking about. And at the time, I had, like on my wrist, like right here, I had writing. I don't remember what it was or what it said, but it was in a red pen. And it was on my wrist right here, or right here one. And it looked like what it would look like if I had cut myself. And that's all I was thinking about. Like, this is what it would look like if I cut myself, and the red pen would be the blood. And so that was like my thoughts. I had to call my friend, and I was like, I'm not okay right now, and like, it was really bad. So I survived work, and I got home, and I was still in that same place. And of course my mom noticed, not just because of her profession, but because she's my mom. And we talked, and I told her my thoughts, and how I had thoughts of like hurting myself, and I mean, and like, I don't know if it was necessarily killing myself more than hurting myself, but I mean, if I had hurt myself and it had killed me, then at the time I would have been okay with that, because I felt like I was a burden to not only my family, but to my friends, because every time I was in that mood, then I'd come to them. One, because every time it happened, it was mainly at night when I was by myself, and when my thoughts would consume me the most. And so I'd go to my friends, and it seemed like almost all the time I was coming to them with the same issue, having to hear the same thing over and over again. And talking to them helped, but it didn't really stop the whole thing. So I felt like a burden to them, and I explained that to a lot of them, and they all said, my family said, oh, you're not a burden, we love you and all this stuff. and that's great now, but it doesn't really help your thought process at the time. And so I talked to my mom, and she was like, do you think you need to go to the hospital? And I was like, no, I do not want to go to the hospital. I can't stand hospitals, which I cannot. I'm a germaphobe, so me and hospitals, we don't match. So I thought she left me alone to eat, and which I didn't really do. I was probably hungry. I just didn't feel like eating, because you can have also loss of appetite. And I was talking to my friends, and I was telling them, like, this is my thought process, and my mom asked if I needed to go to the hospital, and I'm trying to think if I really need to go or not. And I was crying, like I was bawling. It was not pretty. And like I was scratching, because in my way of coping to where I didn't cut myself is I'd constantly either scratching my wrist, scratching my legs. I'd bite myself, which sounds so stupid, but like kind of like and like I guess like when babies teeth, or like when dogs are teething and they like just clamp down on your fingers or your wrist or something like that. That's what I do. And I even tried your typical rubber band on the wrist and like snapping it every time that you have a thought. But I think part of me did that because I liked the way that it felt, the way that it stung against my wrist, which sounds so bad. So I decided, because I was freaking out so bad and scratching as much as I was honestly scared of what I would do and harming myself. So I told my mom that I would go to the hospital, and I thought I needed to, because I was scared of what I'd do. And so the first hospital we went to, I guess it was too small, or they just didn't, I guess, specialize in suicidal ideation. So I went somewhere else. I went to Texas Children's, and it took a while to get fully checked in. I guess because once they found out what I was in for, it's not like I went to jail or something, but what I was in for, they had to, once I finally got to the room, I had to change it to a gown. And I've been to the hospital for migraines too many times that I like to say. And not once have I ever had to get it put on a gown. I've gone to the hospital for MRIs and stuff like that, CAT scans, and I've never had to put on a gown. And so I had to put one on, and like I said, I'm a germaphobe, so I'm looking around, I'm looking all on the gown, like, is there one stain on here? Am I gonna see blood? Is this really clean? Like, I was freaking out. And the bed too, I think there was a stain on one part of the bed, and I stayed on, like, this is the bed, and there was like a stain like right here, and I'd stay at the almost the very edge of the bed to avoid touching that. Like, I don't know what the heck that is. It could be blood, it could be juices or something. I don't know. It's just, ugh. So anyways, you had to put on a gown, and there's absolutely nothing in the room. There's no remotes for the TV. There's no, like, the whole room was just blank and bare. And you have to not only do you have to wear a gown, but you can't have your phone. You can't simply even wear your Apple Watch, or any watch really, rings, anything that you could use to possibly hurt yourself, that would tempt you to hurt yourself, you can't have. So you had to put it all in a bag, and my mom had to hold it. And on top of all that, you have to have somebody sit outside of your hospital room, and with the door open, they just sit there just to watch you and make sure that you don't do anything. And then if you have to go to the bathroom, they have to go to the bathroom with you. Not in the bathroom, thank goodness, but they have to stand right outside the door. And they walk you back and all this stuff. And what took the longest was they came and asked basic questions like they normally do when you go to the hospital. And what took the longest, though, was waiting for the, I can't remember what you call it. I don't think he was a psychiatrist, because psychiatrists prescribe you medication, and that's not what he did. I don't remember, but he did a mental examination, and which basically was determining, I guess, what kind of depression I had, and also whether or not I needed to go to a mental institution or hospital, whatever, for 72 hours. And so he asked questions like how bad my thoughts were, how persistent they were, and I don't know if it's just me or not, but with my thoughts, it'd be like, okay, I want to hurt myself or harm myself right now. But then at the same time, typically I want to do it with a razor, and like most girls have a razor. And so, but at the same time, I'd think about the pain level, and I'd be like, this is gonna hurt. Like, I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want it to hurt as bad as I'm thinking that it's going to. But because I guess the amount of pain and all the emotions that I was feeling, I felt like that was the only way to stop the pain, to cause more pain. That doesn't make any sense, but that was my thought process. And so he asked questions, some basic, some more detailed, and thank goodness I did not have to be admitted into an actual hospital and stay there for 72 hours. I was able to go home around 2 in the morning. We finally got home. And so he suggested that I do therapy, or I can do group therapy, or I could, he recommended some psychiatrists, and I wanted to do the group therapy, or things like day therapy, where you go during the day and then, or some of them you even stay the whole entire day and then go home at night. And so I wanted to do that, or group therapy, but I couldn't because I was taking college classes, and this is before Corona, so I had classes in the morning, so I couldn't do that. So he gave us some psychiatrists to get in contact with, and those people ended up being sorry. So we had to find one on our own. So it takes months to get in contact with the psychiatrist. So we decided to tell my doctor and explain what had happened, and she prescribed a medication that I do not remember what it was called. No, it was fluoxetine. And I took that, and it honestly made my depression and my anxiety, my insomnia, everything 10 times worse. And my thoughts were so bad. I think one time I even had to sleep in my parents' room just so I could be watched, and to see if I could sleep any better. Like a 17-year-old still sleeping in their parents' room. Like, that sounds ridiculous, but it's what I had to do. It made it worse. So I told my doctor, and by that time, no, even before that, I stopped taking the medication, because you're supposed to take it consistently for 6 weeks, and that's after the 6 weeks, that's when it actually gets into your system, and you can tell if it's working or not. But I stopped taking it, and because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling better, I'm like the happiest person in the world, I'm all giddy and all this mess, and I stopped taking it. I didn't tell my mom that I stopped taking it, and she's like, are you still taking your medication? I'm like, no. And she's like, why not? I'm like, because I feel better. I'm so happy. I don't know, like, I'm on top of the world. And she's like, yeah, no, you need to start taking your medication again. So we finally were able to get in contact with the psychiatrist, and she's like, they got on me, and my doctor got on me. They're like, you're not supposed to stop taking the medication. You don't do that. I was like, I'm sorry. So they put me on a new medication. This one, it's empty because I just ran out. But escitalopram, Prim, whatever. There's a easier name, but I don't remember what it is. So you can just look it up if you're really that curious. And it's one that I take in the morning. I originally started with a, this is, how many milligrams is this? What the heck does it not say? Oh, 10. So, I originally started with 10 milligrams, but then we increased it because it was doing good. Like, this one was actually helping. Like, my thoughts have gone down and stuff, so, and I've, like, been happier, and so I increased it to 15. 15? Yeah. One, whole pill and then a half. And I do it take it one time a day in the morning, and, I'm set. Like, yeah, I'm set like that. This medication has been great. Which I had been so against medication because I didn't want to be that type of person that was like, I have to take medication to stay stable. If that's even, I don't think that's the right word, but it's the only one I can think of right now. Because if I don't take it, then I can, especially for a long period of time, I can slip back into what I was or even be worse. And I knew that the risk of taking medication is your suicidal thoughts can be worse. But thankfully, that's not the case with this medication. This actually decreased a lot. Like, I hardly ever have any thoughts unless it's just a really, really bad day. But I also had to go to therapy, which, like I said, is not bad. The woman that I used was awesome. Love her. I haven't gone in a little while. I probably should start going back, to be honest. Just because it's helpful. You don't always have to go just because there's something wrong. If you need someone to talk to, then a therapist is a good person just vent to. Because, I mean, it's kind of their job to listen. So yeah, I started doing that for a while. And to be honest, I've been pretty good. I mean, there's bad days and there's bad things that happen in life. That's a given. But I can truly say that 5 months later, July 14th, 2020, I can't say that I'm 100% happy, but I can say that I'm content. And compared to where I was before, where I was 5 months ago, that is an awesome place. And I'm good with just being content until I can get to a place where I can say, I'm really happy. Like, my thoughts have gone down. Like, they were at from like 1 to, let's just do 10. They were like a 10. Now they're like a 2 maybe. And that's on a bad day. And my depression is under control. I can't say that it's gone because I know it's not, but because of the medication, prayer, it's under control. So I don't wake up every single day bawling, and I'm not always crying anymore. I can be myself, and I'm dancing more. I mean, some of y'all may have seen on my stories and all that stuff. Dancing, just being myself, the person that I know that I actually am. And so I just want to, like I said, I can say that I'm in a much, much better place, because before it's just like constant cycle. Yeah, it kind of like an elevator that never stopped. It was just always going down, and very, very fast. Like, also like a roller coaster. But anyways, yeah, I'm in a much, much better place. And I kind of want to just talk a little bit about not just my depression, but depression in general. Um, Specifically, I got diagnosed with PDD, which is persistent depressive disorder, also known as dysthymia, dysthymia, something like that. If you want to know the specifics, look it up. But in PDD, the symptoms are less severe, but they're longer lasting. Thankfully, I didn't have MDD, major depressive disorder, because then that's 10 times worse. Because I know people that do have that. And like I said before, just really numb, sad, irritable, guilty, hopeless, everything that I mentioned before. And what helped me was, of course, my mom, because I'd stay in my room for hours and I wouldn't come out. I have my curtains closed, my light is off, I'm under the blanket, not talking to anyone. And she'd come in my room and be like, you need to get up. And of course, my mom, I'm like, get up? Like, I can't do that. But she's like, come upstairs. She was never rude about it, because my mom is very supportive and she understands, but at the same time she's like, I'm gonna help you and you're not gonna stay in this place, because it not only affects you but also affects the people around you. And so at the time I wasn't really thinking about that. It's me and my own world, like, this is what's happening to me right now, forget anybody else. And so she's like, you're gonna get up and you're going to come upstairs with everybody else, you're gonna watch TV and we're gonna talk. And being around family and being around having positive conversations and being able to get out of your own head really helps. So that helps. So I started doing it on my own, where I knew if I thought I was getting into that place, then I just go upstairs. I mean, I still have a pillow and a blanket laying on the couch, but at least I was upstairs where I could hear conversations, and if I chose to, be a part of it. I was actually laughing, which I didn't do a lot, which is weird, because if you know me, then I'm like always laughing at even the weirdest, dumbest stuff. Other things that helped were, of course, music, when I felt like listening to it. Not sad music. I know it's a habit for people to, when they're sad and in their feelings, to listen to sad music, because it's like, oh, this relates to me, all this stuff. But like, no Juice WRLD, no Ed Sheeran, Trevor Daniels, Adele, all these people that sing like really sad romantic love songs, even sad songs, period. Because it just, you get deeper and deeper into your thoughts, and no bueno. So listen to positive, upbeat music, ones that you're like, oh, I'm gonna jam to this. And like, kind of like if you're with your friends and you go on a road trip, what music would you want to listen to? You want to listen to music that's gonna make you cry. You want to be the ones that you can dance to, sing out loud like you're at a concert or something. That type of music. And journaling, that helped a lot. I normally write down my thoughts anyways, but especially during that time, I still journal now, but it was really helpful. And of course, my friends, they were super supportive and still are to this day. Thank you guys for sticking and staying. Love y'all, and thanks for all your help. Of course, my family, and then prayer. Meditation always also helps. That's not really my thing though. I prefer to just pray or do the things I listed before, because it's kind of hard for me to just sit in one place for a long time, depending on what I'm doing. See, because like even in this video, I'm like twisting in this chair. So yeah, those are some things that helped. And my medication is an SSRI, which is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And really, don't ask what it is because I can't really tell you. Just look it up. Because that's what Google's for. I'm not I want to be not a psychiatrist, good lord. A behavioral therapist. So I'll be more knowledgeable about this stuff later on. But for now, I'm just going off of what I know and just my experience. So I'm not a professional or an expert or anything like that. So if anything I say in here don't make no sense, then, or not, I guess not compared to what you've heard from experts, I'm just basing it off of my experience. Don't come at me or anything. And then lastly, helping other people. So I'm not, like I said before, I'm not at 100, but I don't have to be at 100 to help other people, because I know I used to think that I was alone and that nobody else dealt with this. I'm the only person that has something wrong with me. But I know that there are tons and thousands of people that deal with depression and anxiety and even things that are worse than what I went through. And so I want to help, knowing that I'm in a better place. And plus, I like helping people anyway. I'm a caring person. And part of my issue, kind of still, but I'm working on it, I guess, is when people tell me their problems. Even I could be in a good mood, but then someone tells me their problems, and it's like I consume their problems and I get in a bad mood. I'm always trying to not really fix other people, but try to make them feel better. And don't come in here. And just trying to make them feel better. And so I would take their problems and make it my own, which wasn't my problem, which was not helpful. So I want to help people. Like, if you ever have any questions, concerns, or thoughts, you can always hit me up, and I'll try and help any way I can. We could pray. I can give you tips, like what helped me, and just, I don't know, whatever you need, I guess. I'll just be there, because some people don't have other people that they can go to. They don't have family they can go to, so it's good to have other people that are going through the same thing or did go through the same thing that you can go to, it's relatable. And so, I don't know, I just felt like I should share my story, part of my story anyways. I have a lot of stories and I'm only 17, good and bad, but not getting into that. But yeah, I thought I'd share. I just feel like I needed to, because I feel like it's good to put it out there in the air, because it makes you feel better on your own, but I know that it helps other people. And that's my main thing, to help other people. I'm not the best speaker. I honestly hate public speaking. So the fact that I'm even doing this, even though this is not really public, but I'm talking to a camera, talking to myself, it's kind of odd for me, but I just felt like I should do it. So hopefully this was helpful to other people. Like I said, if you're ever have any questions or anything like that, hit me up. To some people, this is the last thing I want to say, but to some people, this might be just your typical, girl who's depressed, everything she went through, just your typical depression, anxiety story. But to me, this is like a testimony, because I'm nowhere near where I was. Like, I'm so much better than I was 5 months ago, and I'm honestly proud of myself for not allowing myself to stay in that place, because I could be the same way or even worse than I was 5 months ago. But I chose not to stay in that place and to be better. So like, yeah, like I said, this is kind of like my testimony. So, just a little bit of my story. Hopefully it's not too long. 35 minutes is kind of long. But if you made it this far, congratulations. Round of applause for you. But yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And come to me if you need anything, any questions or anything like that. I'll be here. And don't be afraid to talk to your family, friends, or even talk to a therapist, even if you may be against it. And also talk to God, because that always helps. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. And again, love you guys and all the people that have been there for me and are still are. Thank you. Love you. And yeah. I was gonna do some weird corny outro, but yeah, no, I don't think I'm gonna do that. So I'm just gonna end this and be like, bye.